so excited to talk to you because of your life story, all the challenges you faced as a child growing up. I think it'd be really interesting for our listeners to learn a little bit more you as a person and be able to kind of see how you developed into the person you are today. So tell us a little bit about your childhood and how that had affected you growing up and to the person you are today.
So I was born in a very small town in Israel, in the north of Israel, on the border with Lebanon. And at that time, there was two main situations, or I would say situations. Number one, we've been attacked every night for years with massive missiles, 60, 70, 80 missiles every single night. Like it was for years and years and years. And when there was no missiles, terrorist group will come into houses and will just kill the people in the house, like just randomly. It was just really crazy. They would just come in, go into the house, like they went into our neighbor, just one block away from us, and just went into the house and demanded some whatever. I don't even remember what they wanted. And the government says no, so they killed their family. And then they've been killed as well, which was stupid. But that was the reality. There was a lot of those things happening. Every week, 2 weeks, there will be a group like that. So this was one thing. So that got me to realize that life is composed of, number one, intelligence and beautiful things. But there's another side of life, which is force. And it's really, 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 really important to educate people that life is composed of beautiful thing, intelligence, and force. And most kids in abnormal places, they call it normals, I think it's abnormal. Most kids get educated that everything is nice and beautiful and sweet. And then one day they get hit by force and they don't know how to handle force. So that total effect of the force. But life in reality, when it's sane, it's composed from 50% force and 50% intelligence. Everything, you need to be able to use 50% force and 50% intelligence. And when this thing is in balance, life is beautiful. And when it's not, life is terrible. So, for example, the Jewish people before the Holocaust had the viewpoint of everything is intelligence. So when the force arrived, they couldn't resist it, they couldn't handle it, they couldn't redirect it. On the other hand, terrorists think that life is all about force. So they actually never arrive to a point where the use of force help them to arrive to the actual purpose. So life and force, it's really important to understand it's correct with people that works for you. It's correct with your children, with everything, with the exception, of course, of your wife. There you just
In which case, what do you use mostly in that area?
obey.
I love that you say that there's a balance between sometimes you do have to stand up and be forceful, and then sometimes you have to kind of stay back and relax and just be in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, so force and intelligence, that's number one. Now, I was born, so that was one of the thing. And the second thing, on the other hand, I was born with my 2 feet pointing backward, totally 180 degrees backward. And from the age of 3, my mom will take me every 3-4 days to the hospital, which, by the way, was about 1.5 hours driving from where we were living in a bus. So she would pick me, a baby, take me 1.5 hours to that city, yes, or town where there was a hospital, take another bus to the actual hospital, wait there, and what they will do, they will break the feet and put it into a cast. So it was very, very, very painful. And I will be with the cast up to the hips for 6 years. Every 3-4 days, they will break it and turn it slowly, 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 slowly for 6 years. And after 6 years of pain for me and for her, they basically say, okay, fine, you're fine, your feet pointing forward, but you cannot walk.
What was that like?
Yeah.
Were you
Well,
on
number
crutches?
one,
Like
with
what?
some methods, I didn't use those legs ever for 6 years. Didn't use them, so they didn't develop. The number two, ankles were totally messed up. They broke it. It was just really messed up and painful. Any touching was really, really, really painful. And they told me, look, you will not be able to walk, but it looks good, pointing to the right direction. And I remember very clearly the first time that I heard that I probably will not be walking. It was when I was maybe 3, 4, when I really got the thing that I will not walk. And I had this clear 100% knowingness that this is what they say. It doesn't have to be the reality, because I create my own reality. I decide what will happen. I'm the boss. The body listened to me because I had confronted a lot of pain with the body, and I knew that pain is only a viewpoint, just a viewpoint. Just I could make the pain into a major thing, or I can make the pain like a scratch or like a kiss. It's just a viewpoint. If I think that it's really, really bad, it will be really bad. And if not, it's not. And everyone thought that it was painful. And at the beginning, it was painful. But then I changed my mind that this pain is not really a problem. So it didn't stop me. As a child, as a baby, I will go into the water. I will put a plastic bag up to my hips, tie myself with a plastic bag, and jump into the water, and it will cause me to float because there was air there. And I will swim, and I will go everywhere, crawling. It didn't stop me to do anything, nothing, nothing. I was all over running without legs. So after they took off the cast, I started to learn how to walk. So slowly, 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 I started to learn how to stand, to develop those muscles. And it took a long time. And eventually, you work, and everyone says, don't expect much. And I said, no, I don't expect much. I expect everything. Don't think that. There was a very long time where I was just pushing. And eventually, one day, I could stand. And eventually, one day, I could move one leg, and then I move another leg. And then I slowly, slowly, slowly managed to walk. And after, I don't know, 2, 3 years of pushing every day, things started to like, okay, it's not a problem. It's painful. It's extremely painful, but I can walk. So for me, it's not a problem because I can walk. So it's not painful. It's normal. This is for me a normal thing. I was always saying, imagine that you born in Africa and there was lions and snakes and crabs and very dangerous things around you. For you, it's not dangerous. It's normal because you're born to live with that. So this is your normal. It's like not an issue. It's just for other people, it's an issue. But it was not an issue for me. For me, it was okay. I'm totally willing to experience it. It's not an issue. So my whole viewpoint on life is that as long as I'm willing, the barriers are small. And the moment that I stop being willing, the barriers become big. So the size of the barriers is never defined by the barrier, but by the willingness of the observer.
Yes,
So when
you have
you have,
such a it's so clear to me that you have such a strong will to bend reality with the use of your own mind. And it's very it's so clear to me when you explain to me how you overcame that.
yeah, it's just a willingness. I I had this clear viewpoint that it is my willingness that define the size of the opposition. It's not the opposition. If I'm willing to do something, I can do everything is nothing. Like I want to go out with a lady, all of a sudden I have time, I can do this, I can do that. Distance is not a problem, nothing is a problem. But if the relationship is ended, then I don't have time and I don't have, and I don't want to drive and I don't. So when you are willing, the barriers are very small. So big willingness mean small barriers. Small willingness will always turn the barriers to be big barriers. The barriers don't have size. It is the
Yes.
willingness. The willingness define the size. It is
Okay.
very that really define your size, your own size is how willing you are, you define your size. Most of the people, if they have a problem, let's say I have $10,000 debt, okay? And I make $300 per month. So most people think about it as a big problem. And what they will try to do is to handle the barrier, the $10,000, to spend less, to pay it off. They think all day long, what am I going to do with this barrier? I, on the other hand, said, barrier, not a problem. Let me make $1 million per month. I didn't solve the 10,000 problem. The 10,000 problem's gone away.
Yes. You solved the other side of the equation.
It's gone away. It's not a problem anymore. I don't need to solve it. It's not a problem. If you have $1 million per month income, $10,000 debt is not a problem. It's like it's never been a problem because the willingness is how much money you make, and the problem is the size of the barrier. The barrier become nothing. So you can see that when life handling problems become a no problem. But when you consider that you have a problem, you don't have life. You are not life anymore. So the physical universe have problems. Life don't. Life have no problems. Life just know it can handle it. Life have solution, but it's not really correct to say has solution because life have no problems. You don't need even to solve it. It's become such a not. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you have a headache. Okay, it's a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. And all of a sudden, you see the most amazing, beautiful lady that come to you and say, I think I'm falling in love with you. The headache gone
Headache is
away.
gone.
Because you are so big now. You are so big. So there's no problems. So the problem is just a manifestation of your secret belief that you are useless.
Okay. So in your business teachings, so we have the will, ingredient number one. We have the will, the willingness. And then like a second ingredient is knowing what to do, right? Like if I just jump into business with the willingness, but I don't know what to do, I will fail, correct?
Yeah. So what happened is you'll see that the willingness is required only after you failed. And if you actually know, which is above willingness, if you actually know, everything is fine because you just know. You bring about something out of nothing. When you already failed, if you already not successful, when you're learning, indeed there are two things that you need to become successful. Number one is the willingness, which means the willingness to experience the motion. Number one is the willingness to experience life. Whatever life throws at you, not a problem. And number two is the ability to control it. It's not the knowledge, because I don't care if you control it by sneezing. I don't care how. So number one is the willingness to experience life. And number two is the ability to control it. Control you usually get by learning or by knowledge. So let me give you an example. Let's say I put you on a roller coaster, okay? I put you on a roller coaster, and the roller coaster go up, 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 up. At one point, you start to be very, very good in statistics. Start to calculate when was the last time that there was here an accident, and will it apply to me, and become very good in statistics. But you are there already. You cannot go away. So you go up, 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 up. The cart start to move. At one point, the speed of the cart exceeding what you're willing to experience, and you go crazy. You go insane. That's what happens in life when you are unwilling. But a roller coaster is only 2 minutes, and life is about 70 or 80 or 90 years. So this is number one, willingness, yes? It's one ingredient. And indeed, the second ingredient is the ability to control the motion. If I put you on an F-15 or F-16, and you're totally willing to experience the motion of F-15 or F-16, but you don't know how to fly it, you will be history. You will not succeed. So yes, you need both of those, but before that, there is something senior to that, which is I know. So you need both of those only after you failed. Only if you start from the bottom. If you start from the top, someone invented it, someone knew it.
How do you start from the top? Can you start at the top, or do you have to start at the bottom?
You can start from both ways. One day, I think I told you the story. When I was 3 years old, the radio in my house did not work. And I opened the back of the radio and I took a vacuum tube and I went to my vacuum tube is the old transistor or the old IC, if you want. I went to my father. I wake him up. It was Saturday morning. And I said, Dad, we need to replace this vacuum tube. He looked at me, crawling to him, and he looks at me and he says, how do you know that this vacuum tube? There are many vacuum tubes in the radio. I said, how do you know your name? When you know, you know. And he bought the vacuum tube and we replaced it and it worked. And at that moment, I knew that I know electronics. And from that moment, without learning ever electronics, without seeing anyone fixing anything, I knew how to fix radios, how to fix TVs, how to plan and build amplifiers and many, many things. I was making this for myself, for my neighbors, and I was making money. When I was by 13, I was making much more money than my parents. I just knew
What were
electronics.
you doing when you were 13?
I was teaching electronics and I was
Okay.
actually working. Yes. I was teaching adults electronics. And throughout this time, I was working and making money more than both of my parents. Why? Because the spirit knows. The spirit is this thing that knows. When you get convinced through whatever processes, never mind how, we will not necessarily get into it right now, but when the spirit gets convinced that it doesn't know, it needs to learn. It needs willingness. It needs knowledge in order to demonstrate control. But a boy that born one day and knows how to play piano, it's because the spirit knows.
So you were born with just this spirit, this knowing.
Yeah, I just knew electronics, just from nowhere. I just knew.
Talk to us about your you said I think you made $100 million when by the time you were like 31 or something like that, right? Talk to us about that company and your experiences there, what you learned, and how you use that experience and what you're teaching business today.
Okay, so I was in the Israeli army. I joined the Israeli army when I was 18. I was a diver. I've done all kind of special missions and blah blah blah. Mind you, uh, this is at that time there was no computers that held the information about your health issue. So you come to the army, they ask you, do you have any physical issues? And I said no. And they said they've done an IQ test, this. And they say, okay, fine, you can go to this special unit. I said, good, and that's what I want to do. I want to go to a special unit. I want to serve my country. So I go to this special unit. We have 4,000 people started. The course is 2 years. We finished 21. So the selection is massive. Every day, massive physical exercises. Like I've done once 40 kilometers with 40 kilos. On inside and outside of the water. It's a torture beyond torture to a normal person. So for me, with my feet, it was impossible. But of course it's possible because I didn't consider that it's impossible. I just knew I can. I just can. It's not a problem. My viewpoint was not a problem. Just nothing. It's not a problem. It's just a body.
You've mastered your mindset already.
Yeah, it's like I tell the body what to do. So after the army, I've been six years in as a diver. Did all kind of crazy things. 6 years. After 6 years, I went to the Far East. It cost $6,000 for a year. We were living on $6 per day, like nothing, like really very, very low cost. We were working there, and towards the end of that period, someone came to me. I was starting to look, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And someone came to me and said to me, in South Africa, is someone that looking for a programmer. To South Africa, programmer? What programming what? He says, there's this thing that called PCs. P what? He says PC, personal computers. At that time, I never saw a PC, yes? Personal computer? Okay, what does he want? He's looking for a programmer. I said, okay, fine. I got to a phone, set up a time with the person. He calls me to this payphone. There was no emails, nothing, yes? It's just connection. This guy knew this guy and he spoke to this guy. And so he calls me to this payphone and I speak to him and he says, yes, I'm looking for a programmer. And I said, he asked me, can you program? And I said, yes, never programmed in my life, but I can, of course I can do anything. So he said, okay, come to South Africa, come to Cape Town. And when you're in Cape Town, talk to me, I will give you a job. That was all. I said, okay, fine, I'll be there in a month. Within this month, I bought a book on how to program, and I started to read how to program, and I thought, that's so simple, it's nothing. I arrived to South Africa. He tells me what he wants. I looked at that, and I said, okay, fine, not a problem. Started to write a program for him, but I realized that it's quite stupid to write programs because it's repeated, it's always repeated. And in any case, if I'm doing that and I'm giving him a program that I'm writing, I have to stay with him to support him because there will be problems, there will be changes. It's not a good solution for me and not for him. So I decided to write programs that write programs. And at that time, all I wanted is $6,000. I wanted $6,000 so I can go to the Far East for another year. So I was trying to save $6,000. And I'm writing this program, the program that write programs, and he started to use it. He paid me a salary that hardly covered the cost, and I'm still trying to save $6,000. I wanted $6,000. But this program somehow started to go between programmers, and one day, two guys. And these guys came and some people buy it from me and some people just copied it. And I made, I don't know, maybe $1,000 profit, yes? One day in 1 year. And one day, these two guys come to my office, dressed with black, with ties. I had long hair, earrings, very tiny, tiny room underneath some stairs with the wooden door that was like very like no air condition, nothing. And these two guys with the suit and ties comes in, and I was sure that I'm the biggest criminal in the world because I did not report what I sold with invoices. So I was sure this is the South African IRS. And I was like getting, oh my God, these guys caught me. $1,000. Yes, this is my big problem. $1,000. Oh my God. So I'm sitting, I'm listening. And I realized, no, this guy's not after, they're not the IRS. This is something else. So I started to ask them, why are you here? And they say, we want to buy from you the code. I say, which code? For your program. Which one? For Addicted. I used to call it Addicted, a data dictionary editor. And they say, you want to buy from me Addicted? They say, yes. I say, who are you? And they came up from some big company in South Africa. And I said, okay, fine. Why do you want it? They said, because some of our programmers use it and the results are amazing, and we want to own this program. And I said, okay, fine. And they said, how much you want to sell it for? I said, why don't you give me an offer? And they say $100,000. Now, for me, $100,000 at that time was like if you tell me $100 million today. Okay, it was a lot of money for me. I was trying to make $6,000. I said $100,000, yes, and they say yes. I said good, fine. They came in at about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, or 10, something like that. By 5 o'clock, we had an agreement. 3 months later, they paid me. I went back to the Far East, but it was not. And I realized that $100,000 is not a lot. You go to a few hotels, you go to this, you fly first class, you do this, whoops, $100,000 is nothing. So again, I'm without a cent.
No.
Yes.
Starting from scratch again.
Yeah, starting from zero. So I arrived to South Africa and I saw that they have a problem. I realized they have a problem that truck drivers are stealing fuel. So the truck driver will steal fuel, and it was a massive problem. So the fuel costs a lot of money all over the world, but in South Africa it was about 40% of all the cost of a transport company was fuel, and they were stealing a lot of, like 30, 40%. They will steal. So I went. My English was very, very, very poor, very poor. I had a very long hair, earrings, and I said, okay, I have an idea for a system, and I'm going to sell it to the oil companies. So I made a PowerPoint presentation, black and white, with more mistakes than actual English. I wrote it in English, but terrible. I can show it to you. I cannot read it today. It's a joke. I'm sending it to the oil companies. They don't come back to me. So I said, okay, fine. They don't come back to me. They don't understand what they're losing. I will go to them. So as I went to the first oil company, BP, and I go to the reception and I say, I'm here to see the CEO. His name is Bill. And they called and asked me, is he expecting you? I said, of course. He wants to see me. So they are confused because his secretary doesn't know what's going on. His secretary comes down. I'm in this big reception. I'm alone in the reception with the guard, with the receptionist, this guard, receptionist. And she goes through me like I'm nothing, because it's obviously not me, the way that I look, yes? Torn jeans, long hair, curly earrings, bracelets, like coming from the Far East. And she goes right next to me and she asks the guy at the reception, so who is the guy for Bill? And he points at me. And she said, no, to Bill. He points at me. She comes to me like puzzled and she said, are you looking for Bill? And I said, yes. And she said, is he expecting? I said, of course. I wouldn't be here otherwise. So she doesn't know what to do. She takes me up. We're going to the 25th floor, going through a lot of cubicles, getting to this very nice corner office. And before she managed to do anything, I bypass her, open the door and say, hi, Bill, you want to talk to me? I'm going to make you a lot of money. He looks at me, he says, you have 5 minutes. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. At somewhere around 8, 9 p.m. at night, I left him after lunch and dinner together. 3 months later, I sold them the system, and the company, I sold them at $100 million. 3 months.
What was the system that helped them save that fuel or detect that fuel problem that they were having?
It's basically a system that on the one side, on the nozzle, there is a reader, and around the refueling hole, there's an antenna. So usually when you take the nozzle, you press the nozzle, you get fuel. Here I put an antenna around the refueling hole. Only when the nozzle is in, a nozzle get an approval to open the pump open. If you try to pull the nozzle out, the communication break, the fuel stops, so they cannot steal the fuel.
Oh, okay, so simple.
Last,
Right, it goes back to your teachings, right? If it's simple, then that's what you do, right?
if it's not simple, it's contain a lie. Everything is
Yeah.
simple once you confront it. So
Yes.
life is simple, and if it's not simple, it's actually telling you it contains a lie. If your husband come home and give you this complicated story, he's lying. You cannot
Okay,
explain
so
to a 6 years old. What you have in your mind is a lie. You don't actually understand.
right. Okay, so what are the 7 areas of business that you teach? Can we go through those 7 areas? What are those 7 areas?
Yeah. so every business, every organism, your body, your business, your family, every organism have 7 areas that produce a specific end result. And the one area deliver the end result of area number 1, move it to area number 2. It is the raw material for area number 2 to add value to and create the raw material for area number 3. And the result of area number 3, after it's been added its own value to it, is the raw material for value number 4. And at the end, you have the raw material to give to the customer, which is your product or service, which you give to the customer, which he gives you in return money or some kind of exchange. So there is a kind of system in every organization. Is a system that one area create a product, add value to something, give it to the next area, this area add value, etc. So the first area is the establishment area. This is where you hire people, you train people, you make sure that they're ethical. The end result is ethical, productive individuals that produce or achieve the end results, the expected end results. So you give to the organization those people. So you give them. Now the organization take those people and say, okay, fine, the first thing you need to do is to market. And the end result of marketing is income greater than outgo plus reserves. People don't understand it. Marketing actually sell. When you have good marketing, you don't need salespeople. Salespeople are just someone that upsell. For example, Apple is a very good marketing company, so you don't need someone to convince you to buy Apple. The marketing convince you, you come to buy, and the salesperson tell you, look, do you need the 128 or 256? Do you need Pro or do you need Light or whatever?
Yes.
So marketing, the end result of marketing is income that greater than outgo. If you don't
Income
understand,
greater than outgo.
yeah, marketing needs to make more money than what the company spent.
Okay.
That's the job of marketing. And if it doesn't do that, it doesn't do its job. And the story is that because marketing companies are useless, or because most people don't know how to market, they come up with an excuse. No, marketing is, you need to have a brand awareness. The marketing doing, yeah, that's what they do. They do all kind of things. But the end result of all those things is income greater than outgo. And if it doesn't
Okay.
do that, it's useless. Very simple.
Simple.
Yeah. Very simple if it doesn't do that. Now, the moment that you market, you will get money, you'll get energy. And so you've got the finance division, and the end result of the finance division is few things. Number one, that you collect all the money that owed to you, all the money owed to you collected. Number two, pleased creditors, the people that you owe the money are pleased. And number three, that all the records are accurate, and whatever money or assets that you have are kept securely and ready to be used. That's basically the end result there. Now, once you have that, once you have the money, you can start delivery. And the delivery is a company specific. If I'm selling, for example, let's say I'm a teacher, I'm a school, so my result in the technical division will be student who duplicated the material taught and using it to improve their life and the life of others, bringing about an improved civilization. If I'm a father, my end result, the technical side which of a father, is family members who maximize their potential. That's the end result of a father. That's the product, the end result of the father in that specific area. And then immediately once you start to produce, you will have problems. So you need to have a correction area, a place when you correct the machine, the organization, and when you correct the product bought. Now, most people, when they start to look at correction, they say, okay, this is the problem, this is the correction. This is the problem, this is the correction. This is the problem, this is the correction. It's wrong. Because they never find the real reason for the problem. You
Yes,
have
the real problem is within the machine itself, right? Within the system itself. Is that
yeah,
right?
the system or the problem, the real reason is before the manifestation of the problem. So if the problem is headache, the problem is never the headache, it's just a manifestation. It is before. If I argue with my wife, it's never about what we are arguing. There is something before, either me or her or both sin. Because we sin, we argue. But before there's a sin, you don't argue. Yes? So there is a reason before. So for as long as you do a problem correct, problem correct, problem correct, problem correct, the problem will grow. And your ability to correct will reduce. But if you find the actual reason why, the problem will reduce and reduce and reduce, and your ability will grow and grow and grow. So for as long as you just take, people have, I don't know, they feel that they have stress. So they say, well, I have stress. I mean, I have anxiety. So let me take Prozac. You didn't find the source of the problem. It's not the source. So you take a pill. The pill hiding the problem is like you have a car, you have a Porsche, and have this new beautiful car, and this orange light turns on. And imagine that what I decide to do is to break it. It will
Fix
be
the
stupid.
light, make it go away, make the light go away.
Make it go
Yeah.
away. This is to take a pill.
Okay. So most business people that come to you for your help, your mentoring, your coaching, your teaching is the thing that they need to learn how to look at it from a bigger picture and fix the issue before the problem. What do you see as the most common like thing that the business people need to learn, or someone who's just starting needs to learn?
The most common thing is that they don't really understand what is the end result. They have an idea what they need to do, but they don't know what the end result is. It's quite amazing. You take a dentist. So for him, the end result is that he um, cure the problem with the teeth of his patient. That's not the end result. That's the technical end result. But the overall end result of the company has to be something that the client wants. They don't care if they have pain or not. This is a temporary thing. What they want a beautiful smile and a healthy mouth. Yes. So the end result of a dentist will be customers who are that improve their confidence and overall outlook on life due to the most beautiful smile and healthy mouth. Now, if you understand that this is the end result, he will build something totally different than if he thinks that he just needed to fix the problem with their teeth.
So
Totally
what
different actions.
so the end result is, what feeling do you want to give the client? Is that
It's
is that the end result?
what's valuable for the client.
What's valuable for the client?
Valuable for the client that will also be valuable to you, yes?
Mm.
So if you understand the end result, you will see that automatically you will know what to do. If you have a mountain, and you're in the middle of the forest, okay? For as long as you can see the mountain, you may need to go left, right, up the tree, below the tree, to cut the tree. You may need to do all kind of things. But for as long as you see the mountain, you will get closer and closer to the mountain, and you will arrive to the mountain. You will laugh at the idea of not looking at the mountain. It will be not logical for you not to look at the mountain, or to start to walk without having a mountain in view. Because where am I going to? Most people don't have a mountain. They just do all their life. They don't have an actual mountain. And they
They're
call,
lost in the doing. They're lost in the daily doings of that path, whether
yeah,
it's
yeah,
walking or
do
yeah.
that. It's either they have to do that, or they want to do that, or this is what they feel, or they look for passion. All of this thing is nonsense. I don't do anything of that. I define what is the end result. I figure out what needs to be done, and then I fall in love with the action that needs to be done. I don't care if I like it or not. I don't care if I want it or not. I don't care if anything. I need to want the end result. If the end result is pro survival, if the end result is what I'm after, what needs to be done, I do. I don't do what I can. I do what's need to be done. I don't do what I feel like. I don't care if I like it or not. I make myself like it. Like is a feeling. I control my own feelings. I create my feelings. My feelings is not my boss. I am the boss. My feeling, like my car, I'm the boss over my feeling. I'm the boss over my car. I'm not useless. It's a very different viewpoint. Most of the people say, no, but I'm looking for something that I will love. No, I'm not looking for something that I will love. I'm looking for the end result. I define what needs to be done, and I make myself fall in love with what needs to be done. And so there will be results. Otherwise, I love to sit and lay on the beach. Okay, so where's the result? The difference between a person and a robot is a person define what he wants to achieve. And so he knows what he needs to do and he fall in love with what he needs to do. That's a person. A robot doesn't know what he needs to achieve. He knows what he needs to do because someone told him. He has a feeling someone told him what he needs to do. But he never actually, in his mind, achieve. He doesn't have a mind. He doesn't achieve a result. He just do and do and do and do and do. And that's most people. If I take the average person, and I've done it with many of my students, and I take the calendar and I look at the schedule and I say, okay, in the last 6 months, what you've done? I've done this and this and this. What's the result of each one of those things? Oh no, nothing came up with that. Nothing came up with that. This was a waste of time. Oh, that I had to do, but nothing came up. How did it progress you? No, it didn't. So if it didn't progress you, it took you back. Most of the things that people do are extremely useless because they have to do it, or they want to do it, or they desire to do it, or they feel like they need to do it. All of this thing is nonsense. Your feeling will always mislead you, unless if you create them. You
Yeah, I
have
can
to.
see that you have a very engineering type of mind. Like, what is the result, and then what do we need to control the system in order to get us to our destination, right?
Just want result. I just want result because everyone is crying because they don't have result. If you don't have result, you will crying. So I'm willing to sacrifice now for the future. People are not. If you think about it, I'm willing to do what it takes now in order to get the end results. This is even religion is do what you need to do now in order to go to heaven. Sacrifice now for heaven. So I'm saying you don't need to wait for heaven. Just define the result for the next week and do what needs to be done, but make yourself fall in love with it. And you'll see that you'll do it faster, bigger, better, and the end result will be so much more wow that it will actually demonstrate to yourself that you can bring even more end results and with less effort. How do you know that you're improving? You get less effort, more results.
Tell us how these classes are structured. I know you meet weekly, right? And then like how does someone progress through? Do you select a different topic every week to teach? Like how are the business classes structured?
Okay, so we have different areas of classes. So you can go to something that like we call the business class. And the business class is a series of weekly classes where I go through each one of those division and teach you all the basic principles. But to join the business class, you need to do something that we call the fundamentals. And the fundamentals is just teaching you what is money, what is control, what is knowledge, what is responsibility, what is marketing, what is sales, what is a salesperson. You ask a person, what is a salesperson? And he tells you, a salesperson is a person that sells. And I said, no, it's not. It's very far from there. If you don't know what is a salesperson, how can you sell? A salesperson is a person that helps the prospect to help himself with my product or service, with your product or service. So I never tell my people, sell more. I tell them, help more. Who am
Okay.
I helping to, not who am I selling to?
Right. Because the marketing should be selling, right? Going back to what you said before.
Marketing is a process of helping to people that you are not in contact with. And sales is a process of helping to people that you are in contact with.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's all. If you really do, and people don't know most of the things. What does it mean, for example, a product, an end result? What does it mean, end result? We need to define the target, the end result. How do I define a product? What does it mean? All of those things people don't know. They don't know. They don't know most of the things they're talking about. They don't know, like, even a simple thing. Let's say I'm doing, have this idea that your success is defined by your state of mind. The success is defined by your state of mind. Okay? So the better you are mentally, the better your results are. So I have a strong mental viewpoint, so you can throw me at any situation, and my presence alone will turn anything into gold. Just the fact that I arrived. I just there, everything start to be fine, just because I'm there. I don't even need to do something. Just I arrived, things will be okay. That's my viewpoint. And things get okay because I arrive, because that's my viewpoint. There are people that have a viewpoint that wherever they are, they need to be afraid. They need to be careful. So wherever they go, they have threats because they need to be careful. Yes.
Right.
Right. There are
So
people that
how do you define money then? I don't think I've heard your definition of money on any other videos before. What is money?
so money is just an idea that you cause many people to have confidence in. So I have a 5 cents credit card. 5 cents. It's worth 5 cents. It's plastic, maybe 10 cents. I go into a shop. I went to a shop. I gave it to them, and they gave me a brand new car, $250,000 worth of car. The idea, this plastic, the idea, it's backed by confidence and it's money. I come to someone and I tell him, look, I'm going to teach you how to sell. This is what PR doing. It brings confidence. It makes people believe. So public relation is the social technology of controlling human emotions and reactions. So with PR, you can take people and the most educated people, and you can make them into monsters like in Nazi Germany, or you can take the most uneducated people and make them saint, like when religion arrived to an area. So you can take the most uneducated people and make them saint. So or when you take a person into school, you take a person that is uneducated, and all of a sudden he's in jail, and now you start to educate him, and you see the education, if it's a correct education, if he actually been educated, if he actually got knowledge, he become more civilized, he become more controlled, he will be more pro-survival. So money is just an idea backed by confidence. And all you have to do is to have ideas, to realize that ideas are senior to the mechanics of the physical universe. It is very easy to make money, extremely easy to make money, but it's almost impossible. It's extremely difficult to convince people that it is easy.
And what do most people get wrong about money? Like, how does that affect their business? How does that affect, you know,
The,
the wrong understanding, or they don't know what money is? How does that affect their business?
if you don't understand that money is easy to make, it's just an idea. You'll think it's difficult, and if you think it's difficult, you'll make it difficult. It's your viewpoint that defines the reality. It's not the reality. If I had the viewpoint of, oh, I cannot walk, I would never walk. Oh, pain is a bad thing. I would be in pain all the time. I thought that pain is not a problem. I made a decision very early in my life. Pain is not a problem. It's just pain, and people know it. They will see me, and they will see my ankles are swallowing. I cannot put my feet inside the shoe, but I will run. And they say, how? I say, it's just pain. I'll give you an example. I was in the gym, and I was doing these dips. And we were me and another 3 guys. One of them was my son and his friends. And we were having a contest. Who is doing the most? And I started to do this thing, and all of a sudden I hear this thing in my elbow. Something. And the doctor said, no, it cannot be. You cannot do dips. You cannot move the hands with just pain. It's just pain. It is just pain. It's the viewpoint that defines the physical universe. It's the viewpoint. And before you realize that, you will be a slave to your body, a slave to the physical universe, a slave to your feeling, a slave to your desires, a slave to your mind, a slave to your thoughts, a slave. Just a slave. Without chains, because you don't see the chains. But the chains of your mind are much stronger than any metal chain. Because the metal chain, slaves eventually cut the metal chain. Human never cut the spiritual or the mental chains unless they get rid of the data, of the knowledge that helps them to cut those chains. And so they're very limited. And they know the potential is in the sky. They have huge potential. Very small result, tiny microscopic results because of the chains. The mental chains. Oh, this is what I feel like. No, but I don't like it. My emotions. Bullshit, nonsense. Do you want to be a slave or do you want to be free? When you are free, nothing tells you what to do. You tell it what to do.
I
I
love
love
I just love
I
your
just love your
mindset, how you use that to control, your reality, and then yeah, just being free. So with that, how can people get in touch with you? How can people work with you or start learning from your programs? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
So the best way is probably either my website, gprosperity.com, or Instagram at like Meir Ezra Official. So it's Meirezra official. And write me a DM, follow me, write me a DM. I always answer, and I always answer within a day. I make it a very, very strong rule that I handle my inbox every single day. WhatsApp is at the end of the day is empty. My email inbox is empty. My tasks are empty, and my Instagram is empty. Every day I handle all my messages, and I handle it. I don't get someone to handle it for me. So the communication with the people that want to talk to me is me. You don't get someone else to answer on my behalf because you called me. It would be cheating to get someone else to answer. So just follow me on Instagram. I put ton of material for free. This is I don't know if you know, but this thing that I'm doing, the coaching and so on, is just my hobby. I have 24 different companies.
Okay, that's just mind
Yeah.
blowing to me. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I'm operating all over the world. I have, I have software companies. I have money lending companies. We have right now about $100 million that we're lending. We have real estate. I have lots of things. And the coaching is just something that I do to help people. It's about 10-15% of my time, which is the coaching. Most of the time, this is not what I do. Is just the coaching. I'm not a coach. This is not my main business, but I love this thing. Yes, I'm
Yes, I can see that you're so passionate about it when you're talking about it.
yes, because business is nothing. It's easier. It takes time. It takes work, but for me, it's nothing. I'm doing it while I'm sleeping. The thing that I'm really excited about and I make the biggest amount of love with is helping people, because I consider the only value a person have is in how many people he helped. How good of a salesman is he? How many people you helped?
I
That's
love
the
that.
value.
Well, I mean, you've definitely helped me today because just from talking to you, I'm absorbing some of your mindset and I can see how I can approach my life differently just with the mindset that you're using and get
Thank
more control over my life. So,
yeah.
you've definitely helped one more person today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor. It's such a pleasure to talk to you and to feel your energy and, learn about your life. So I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Anytime, whenever I'm here. And if you need any help, anyone, if you need help, write to me. I always find a way to help you, not as you want, but as you need. I will help you the way that you need, not what you want, as you need.
Well, thank you so much. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.